So the big question for Hex and Pulsechain is it over? Is it done? Is the scam finished? Well, it's decentralized finance, so it can never be finished. You know, the contract is still out there on the blockchain, so you know, you cannot remove it. It's there. But they can get delisted. And I think today or yesterday Hex was delisted from Uniswap. And you gotta ask yourself, how decentralized is actually a decentralized exchange when it can just delist stuff? So I think the next thing that has to happen in crypto space is creating a decentralized exchange when you can not actually just remove stuff. Everybody can put stuff on it, and if you put stuff on it, like, you know, it's there forever, and then everybody can trade that, right? But if you got somebody, you know, behind the scenes that can just, you know, pull stuff in and out, it's not decentralized. So, you know, decentralized exchanges are not actually decentralized. Hex protocol is decentralized. Pulsechain also decentralized. I think it's decentralized. I cannot go very deep into that. You know that better than me. Anyways, on this channel we do lines, we do charts, we like technical analysis, or we call it, you know, psychological analysis, moon analysis. So we're gonna look at what's happening with Hex and Pulsechain. But just before we start, in 5 days right now, we are in World Series of Trading on Bybit. We are entering competition. We need more members to our team. We got a team called TN Fans Club. You're welcome to join. We only got 4 members, but you know, there are links down below. You can join our team and you can trade with us. We're gonna do a lot of videos and trading once the competition starts. That said, what is actually happening with the Hex and Pulsechain? Is it over? Is it actually done? Is it on the bottom? Is it, you know, gonna go lower? It can always go lower. Stuff can always drop another 90% down, just so you know that. That said, I always like when there is a lot of FUD. If you remember, let me just go up here to buy Bitcoin and show you something on the chart, so you understand, you know, where we are right now. So I always like when there is a huge amount of FUD on something. Like if something happens, if you got a coin that's been bleeding down for a long time, and then you have the peak FUD, peak fear, that's probably some kind of bottom. If you remember down here, over here on Bitcoin, this was bottom for Bitcoin over here. Yes, it did go a little bit lower down here, but it was pretty much bottom. Why was that? Because this candle over here, that was the Binance FUD, or Binance got sued by the SEC. And the green candle up here, that was when Binance got sued by the, sorry, Coinbase got sued by SEC, right? But the price did not drop. You would think that, you know, the biggest thing that can happen, the biggest fear everybody has is that, you know, SEC goes after Binance and Coinbase, and they went after it and price did not drop, right? So the fact that the price is not dropping when you get some kind of fear, some kind of something is happening, something big is happening, some coin, that's actually a very, very good sign. And of course, what happened after that, we pumped up here, and right now we are expecting more pumps towards upside up here. Over here at right now, just before we pump to start pumping over here towards upside, we had this CRV hack that happened. We also had the, you know, Pulsechain getting sued, but we still, you know, had a nice spring towards up downside and then bounce towards upside up here again. Now let's go back to Hex over here and see what's actually happening on Hex. So the fact that Hex is being actually sued, removed from the Uniswap, and Pulsechain is being sued, or technically Richard Hart is being sued, this might actually be some kind of bottom for Hex, the way I see it. Never say never, not a financial advice. We're just looking at charts, just trying to predict what the next move might be. But the way we see the charts, we are thinking that, you know, it is good probability that this over here is some kind of bottom, because you gotta ask yourselves, if this thing does not die, if Hex and Pulsechain does not die, what's gonna happen next? Like, what is the bigger FUD than, you know, SEC going after Richard Hart? Right, so the way we see this right now, that this over here might be some kind of bottom. Can it go down lower? Definitely can. Just, I mean, this doesn't look like a big dump over here, right? Yeah, you know, just this week down here doesn't look like a big dump, but that's actually a, you know, 40% dump towards downside. So we are not talking about small moves. This is a very volatile coin, and when it moves really, really fast and really, really big time, right? So over here, just this small move down here might be a very big move, and it can definitely drop even down here a little bit lower, and that would be, you know, devastating, you know, that be another, you know, 130. Okay, it cannot drop that far, but you know, it can definitely drop lower than it's right now. So we're gonna zoom in on this part over here and see actually what's happening. But before we do that, there is actually a very nice channel that can actually tell us that this over here right now might be just the bottom, right? So you got this very nice line over here. I think it goes something over here from these levels up here, and you can see up here, let's put it over here, give or take, I think something like this over here. So you can see up here right now, if this is the correct channel towards downside, up here we, you know, went out of the channel, had a nice pump, came down back in the channel right now, tried to go up, and right now we're curving with this 10 moving average. And the fact that we are curving up here actually shows very nice nice bullishness up here, that we might actually break this towards upside and continue over here. But can it drop all the way down here? I mean, it cannot go in negative, but it can definitely, you know, hold it. Right now it's holding this midline over here, and it can definitely bounce. Now oftentimes when you got these moving averages, you can see this white line, when you get these moving averages and price drops down and hits that moving averages, starts pulling back and starts doing this part over here where it kind of hugs that moving averages average. That's actually a very bullish thing, because it's not just dumping towards downside. We did already the dump, and right now we can actually bounce towards upside. So you can see up here we drop down, we hit this moving averages. Right now we are just kind of hugging the moving averages sideways. This is actually very bullish. So if Hex can manage to break the 10 moving average towards upside, that might actually be very good for the price, and price might actually go you know, a lot higher than that. But these moves are very common. We call this a shoe pattern. It goes very fast towards downside, you get some kind of, you know, some kind of move towards upside, and then you got this very bullish curvature that's happening on the charts. Right now over here is a little bit different. We got a curvature up here, big move down up here, and then we're getting this curvature again here on the upside up here above the moving average. So let's zoom in a little bit up here and see what's actually happening. I think we need to go to the Kraken exchange up here. It's a little bit different, but you know, almost the same. And you'll see that down this very big dump on the downside up here. This is on, oh, I did miss that, sorry. No, this is hit BTC. On hit BTC we already pulled back, but on BitGet we are not actually pulling back. But it does matter. Let's look here what's gonna happen. This is on weekly time frame. Let's go to the daily time frame, and there is probably some kind of channel up here. And the way I see that, there are several ways where this channel can actually be, but I think it might be going something like this over here, and then towards downside over here, these bottoms. So this was some kind of overextension towards downside, create some kind of double bottom over here, and then pull back inside that. You can see down here very nicely holding the support, then try to break up here a couple of times, holding these bottoms as support, and then fell again towards downside. Right now it's again hitting this bottom line up here that's previously been a support right now as well. And also we got a little bit of overextension from the moving averages down here, so you know, it is probable that this might actually go towards the upside, because again this all comes down to psychology, and that's why I said this is psychological technical analysis or psychological analysis, because you know, if people want to sell, if people were in fear, if this was panic selling, then it's pretty much over. But it's continuing and it starts going and doing something like this below the support levels, then we can assume that, you know, this might not have been the bottom, it might actually continue towards downside. But will it actually bounce over here? That kind of depends. It all kind of depends, you know, what to do. This is the thing about analysis, technical analysis or psychological analysis. We don't actually know what's going to happen, but we can actually look at a chart and try to figure out what's most probable to happen. And right now, the most probable move is a recovery up here, because the FUD is already out there. I mean, it's already got delisted. It already got, you know, Richard Hart already got sued. Like, what is the next thing that's gonna drop another price, another, you know, 40-50% towards downside? And I just don't see it. So I think that there is a good chance to actually have a V-shaped recovery up here, or any kind of recovery up here towards the upside, towards this level. That would be, you know, a very nice move towards upside, maybe, you know, because this is very volatile. So, you know, even 100% move up here outside of this zone down here towards the upside, this is very probable right now, the way I see it. But again, what's gonna happen next, you know, very hard to say, but I think the probability right now is bigger towards the upside than actually breaking this towards the downside. And I think if it wants to break towards the downside, something big has to happen again. Now, what is happening on Pulsechain? And here we have Pulsechain, and as you can see on the chart, we got a couple of channels up here. We got this you know, bigger channel over here, that, or this channel over here, that was holding very nicely and then fell down to the bottom of that channel. or the doubling of that channel, fell through that, and right now holding down here at support. Now this support is made of two channels down here, because we had the first initial move towards downside that we broke over here to sideways. We climbed up here, and right now we're falling and retesting that resistance level right now as a support level on the downside. And again, we come back to the same psychological analysis that we just talked about with Hex. We already had all the FUD, we already had the lawsuit, we already had the delisting. Like, what is next that's gonna come? So if this price wants to, the way I see it, if the price wants to drop in further towards downside, something needs to happen, something big needs to happen. Right now I cannot imagine what the next thing is gonna be, but right now the way we see the chart up here, we are extended from the moving averages over here. We dropped down big towards downside. I think this was a 70% drop, 77% drop towards downside. This might have been capitulation phase up here for Hex, because Hex is it's for Pulsechain, because Pulsechain also already been bleeding for a long time, and right now that the lawsuit came out and everything, I think this might be a capitulation phase. If this is the capitulation phase on any chart, there will be some kind of capitulation phase. If this is capitulation phase, often these capitulation phases are accumulation zones over here where the price eventually goes towards the upside. There is also a lot of FUD during capitulation phase where the price might actually dip a little bit lower, but oftentimes these indicate some kind of bottoms where the price actually recovers. This does not have to happen. There could come some more FUD, something like that pushes price towards downside, but a 77% move towards downside is pretty much capitulation phase on any kind of chart. Now this is actually a very good thing, because if you have a capitulation phase, that means that some kind of bottom is in. If some kind of bottom is in, that there is good probability to go towards upside. Now Hex and Pulsechain are like together, and the way I see it, both Pulse and Hex can actually right now go towards upside, because capitulation already happened. That's what we always look in the chart. Where is the capitulation? And this looks to me like capitulation phase. So I don't know. I don't see much more FUD coming out. But if it does come out, it does come out. But the way I see it, this can definitely right now start bouncing towards the upside. It's been a very short time. But and these moves up here can actually do something like this up here before they actually go. So it doesn't have to immediately go towards the upside. But eventually, I think this will actually recover and go towards the upside, because I don't see anything else coming out. Hope you enjoy this. Join our team on TF Fans Club on Bybit if you wanna trade with us. Besides that, have a nice day, guys. Bye bye. Outro.